It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island. 'Cause nothing's better than a motion video.
It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando,
And I'm Mindy McMahon.
and this is It's Movie Time.
Showing up.
Now, we had some switch-ups, so we had to substitute for our film this week. I have to admit, one of my favorites of all time. Have you seen Chinatown before?
Yes, I have.
I suspected
Yes, I have.
that I couldn't believe that you would not have seen it.
While back, but yes.
That was 90, it was 74.
Lord.
Gosh.
I don't know,
Mindy.
Jack Nicholson is dang young in that.
Oh my gosh.
He's a baby.
He is so dapper. And he plays a dapper detective.
Yes, he does. Very well dressed.
Each outfit is just more spectacular than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So it's really a detective story, right?
Absolutely.
But does it have anything more on that?
Oh, yes. It's so stylized and not even like noir, old-fashioned kind of thing.
Oh,
It's
right.
got its own, it stands alone style-wise to, I don't know, maybe any movie I've seen, it stands alone. It has a very definitive feel to it. The way it is shot, the sets everything. It's just that movie.
Yes. And it's done by one of the great directors of all time, whose personal life we don't need to discuss, but Roman Polanski.
Yep.
And as we know, he's banned, in the sense he's banned, because if he steps over here, he's going to be indicted.
Yeah.
And it won't work, so he works in Europe, and I presume he's still doing movies there. But I see his stamp on this as it did in Rosemary's Baby and and other movies that he's done.
Right.
Besides the stylized, and I have to agree with you, and everything is so noirish. I think about one of the things that cracks me up is every time I see him and Curly in the opening
Right.
scene.
Right. Absolutely.
Nicholson is just as casual as can be about Curly. He's showing photographs of his wife's infidelity.
Yeah.
And he's just like so cool about it all. And then Curly.
So jaded.
Yeah. And then you remember Curly is just banging himself up. Nicholson tells him not to eat his blinds because he just bought them.
Uh-huh.
And of course, blinds are one of the signatures of noir anyway.
Yes.
So I just said to myself, now I know why I like this movie, going back to it, because boy, Mindy, did it hold up.
It sure did.
Wow.
I love the sound/music, whatever you want to call
yeah.
it. It was so sparingly used.
Mm.
So there's so much dialogue without any background.
Yes.
And it really creates a feel.
Well, Polanski pulls in that, what would you call it, a kind of plaintive saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
Now and then, you're right. It doesn't like you think for noir. Well, you're going to have this running throughout. No.
Right.
Maybe 3 times.
Well, it reminds me a little of Oppenheimer, because Oppenheimer just used sound more than music, and this was kind of right in between sound and music.
Good. Yeah. So he doesn't overdo it. But look at Robert Towne, who wrote this, got this Oscar for the best screenplay.
I think that makes perfect sense.
Does it? And you don't want anything to annoy you while you're listening to this beautiful, beautiful language.
Yeah.
And yes, everything is precise. There's no fat, as far as I can tell, anywhere.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
And well, how do we talk about this without revealing?
You don't talk about the ending.
Yeah.
I guess you just can't, because this is one that's just got a good twist that you don't want to mess up.
Yeah, and you can't call this from wherever you are. You couldn't call this.
No.
This.
The first time I saw it, I was stunned, just stunned.
So my, it starts out being kind of a twist in itself when you have, but I think it's always great. The chief of water in Los Angeles
Yes, yes,
during a time of drought,
yes,
he drowns.
yes.
How is that? It's not,
And it doesn't make any sense.
it does not make any.
And the guy just kind of blows it off as, yeah.
Well, the great catchphrase of this, the line that everybody remembers, is that it comes at the end, but doesn't reveal anything more than what we're just now talking.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't any answers
Yeah.
because it's Chinatown.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they say? Relax, shaker.
Well, it's interesting just to talk about the idea, and it's more the idea of Chinatown. I hope more than any kind of racist slur. It's that it is an unknown place. It is a place where things are not easily defined, especially for an outsider. So it's the mystery aspect is what I took that to mean. It's just that it's a mysterious place where don't quite have your bearings.
Well, back in the day, we used to talk about Chinese puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a particular kind, so I thought, well, maybe they're playing off of that as well. But it doesn't make any difference because it's Chinatown and it's not Los Angeles. It's really Chinatown in itself. And Jake Gittes, excuse me, please, not Gittes.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Gittes.
Although that's a great point in the movie, that he keeps mispronouncing his name.
And then we're talking about John Huston
Yeah.
playing a very bad Noah
Rich
Cross.
guy.
Noah Cross.
Yeah.
We realize that he's somehow involved in water when he has the name of Noah.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's the rich guy with the power.
No.
And he also has the power to call you by the wrong name. Not that that reminds me of anybody. Any other millionaire who likes to call people by the wrong name? I can't think of who that would be.
Well, I question if he's even a millionaire.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, we have contemporary examples of people who seemingly get away with this kind of indignities.
And that have the need to do it. That your insecurity is so intense that you still act like you're in 7th grade.
And Mindy, I'm reminded as we're talking about this, the debt that Roman Polanski has to Orson Welles. When they first see Hollis Mulray talking in front of the group about the water, he uses Welles.
Yeah, it's very much like the scene with the newspaper guy.
Yeah.
Whatever his name was.
Yes. And I love it because somewhere in there is the name. Gosh, what am I thinking about? There's the name Gittes, Gittes, that's used in that is in Citizen Kane. This is why Polanski used it. It's like it's the guy who's remember the fellow who was at the top of the stairs and then Wells falls down the stairs.
Oh yes, yes.
The guy who's going after him.
Yeah.
And his name is Gittes.
Huh.
So a couple of references to Orson Welles and Citizen Kane, meaning that our boy Roman Polanski's in good company.
Yes.
And
in both situations you're talking about evil, power, money. And how those three things conflate so often in our lives.
Oh gosh, yeah. And Jake is kind of a man about town, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he knows everybody's connected, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He also, a great thing about him is you can see he works for money, but you can also see how his curiosity gets the best bet of him.
Yes.
And he's into it. It's not just the money. He's into the puzzle. He's into finding out who the bad guy is. And so he's not exactly, he doesn't fit a hero You know, he's not a hero, but he is a guy who's on your side. I guess that's a better way of putting
You
it.
can count on him. He
Mhm.
does have some compass
Mhm.
here, and
Yeah.
yeah,
But he's not heroic. He's not heroic to anybody.
No.
It's that line between, it's almost like, yeah, he's gonna take his money, but he's gonna do the job, even be outside of the job for him though, not for you. He's into it.
So in this, in the movie that we're talking about, Chinatown, we follow Jake Gittes, played by Jack Nicholson, through almost the whole film. I don't think
He's
there
in
are
every
many
single
frames.
scene.
Is he? He's got
He's
to be
in every single scene.
Yeah. So we definitely have a point of view film here.
Absolutely,
And so
and it's definitely his.
It is, and your assessment is correct. He is, although he's a little shady on the side, he is definitely a human being on whom you can count.
Yeah,
And
and he's a shady that we can live with.
yes, yes.
You know, we're not worried he's gonna really hurt anybody. He's just got a lot of self-interest going on.
And we are just touching the surface, and we're going to talk more about this and more about some of the intriguing characters, like the one played by John Huston. And we're going to do that after, for people who want to sign up for our Back Talk podcast.
Lucky
Maybe
them.
you think that people really
You
want it?
gotta know more about this movie. It's good.
So, Mindy McFan, the film is Chinatown. Our colleague Wayne Miller considers it the best movie ever made.
Wow.
It's his favorite.
Wow.
His favorite, and I think it's one of the finest movies ever made.
Without a doubt.
I mean, so, what is your advice? Now we know it's streaming.
Yes.
Prime.
I think it's on more than Prime. I think it's on Prime
Oh,
and
okay.
Paramount Plus.
Okay, so other places.
At least, yeah.
So, what's your advice to our audience? There's our kids up there saying, "China what?"
Oh, ghost. This holds up. You don't matter how old you are, don't matter what you've been through. It's just a fine movie.
Listen to the saxophone. Look at his clothing, and as you pointed out earlier on, just take a look at the whole atmosphere, all the settings, the cars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, beautiful cars. And everybody, including Faye Dunaway, is dressed to the nines.
Yes, it's worth it.
It's movie time with John DeSanto and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know